it is. Sorry that I'm late. It was a bit of a journey from the office out here to your humble farm. So let's go ahead and get the details for my visit squared away and confirmed. I know it is a late night emergency chiropractic appointment that you booked for what was it? Oh, that's right, a pig. So let's go ahead and get details. You called for your pig, okay. Is it an adult or adolescent pig? Okay, adolescent. Perfect. And what are the primary issues of concern for your call? Okay, generalized pain in the neck area. Now, is this pain constant? Does it come and go? Is it made worse with any specific type of movements? Okay, worse when it bends down to eat. Bends its neck. Okay. So when leaning down to eat, pain is made worse. Alright. And any other areas except for that posterior portion of the neck? Okay, so that back right hip. Okay. Back right hip. And what pain is your pig experiencing in that area? Alright, some sharp pains. Any movements? Okay. When climbing elevated areas. Okay. So when it is pushing off of that hip to gain elevation, it's experiencing pain. Okay. Yes, I unfortunately see that quite commonly with pigs, so it's nothing out of the ordinary, but of course, not to downplay the emergency, it can be quite bothersome. Okay. Alright, so I do have my portable table here. I'll get everything set up if you want to bring your pig from around back, and we'll go ahead and get started, alright? Okay, allow me a moment. And here we are. Well, I can see that your pig is definitely a bit under stress. Yeah, there's a lot of tension there. I can tell just by raising the head, just with a gentle hand placed under the chin there. I can feel a lot of resistance here in this area, which shows me that there is a lot of built-up inflammation where the base of the skull and neck meet the rest of the torso. Let's test out the side motions here. Oh yeah, that's very tense, not a lot of movement. Yeah, it's very rigid. Okay, let's just palpate down the spinous process there. Yeah, there's still a lot of tension there, unnecessary tension at that. There's always going to be just a bit of inflammation in the spinal area, but not this much. So we will definitely focus on that area and then that painful neck area like you described. So what I'm assuming is that when your pig bends its neck downward, yeah, right there, if you palpate that area of the neck, you can feel that. Those muscles are so over-tightened that it's making it difficult for it to reach down and find food. So that's where that pain is coming from. So I'm glad you called me, because this could have gotten a lot worse if it continued to strain downward or even look up for falling leaves or berries from trees. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just get a bit of massage in that area. I'm just massaging the base of that neck. I want to make sure that your pig is really relaxed and ready for the the chiropractic adjustments and just overall treatment. If you don't, make sure that you relax those muscles before you begin the adjustments. Then sometimes the muscles are actually fighting back against your adjustment, which is not ideal. So we're just going to do a bit of tension relieving massage techniques on that neck area. Just kind of warming up the skin and bringing in some blood flow to those pixelated hide portions here on the back. And then on the sides of the head, we just want to do some gentle scratching and to make sure that that pig is really feeling relaxed and ready for the chiropractic adjustments. A little quicker now. As you can see, the demeanor of your pig is already beginning to soften and feel a bit more at ease. Just a bit of scratching on the ears always helps that. Some circular motions on those ears are always quite relaxing and therapeutic for the pigs as well. I've noticed in my travels that they oftentimes really enjoy this. Alright, and just a bit of quick massages on the top of the skull there, just to, once again, bring about blood flow and just a bit of calming sensations on the skin. And we will end with some skin stimulation on the back along that spinal cord that we know is carrying a lot of tension and inflammation. Alright, the first thing that I'm going to do for this first adjustment, I'm just going to get a bit of fluid motion here. I want to get those joints kind of moving in the directions in which I'm going to adjust. So we are going to adjust vertically this time, and we're going to try to manipulate those joints at the base of the neck. Alright, so we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and there we are. As you can see, sometimes it does sound or appear quite harsh, but I can assure you that the benefit greatly outweighs the appearance of harm that your pig is experiencing. Alright, 3, 2, 1, and there we are. That's a good one. Probably one more necessary there. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Now, let's test that motion again. Okay, that's already beginning to feel just slightly better. So now we are going to adjust this direction here. So I'm going to place a supportive hand here on that front shoulder, and I'm simply going to push against that pressure of my hand. 3, 2, 1, and there we are. So we're actually adjusting that opposite side, so we're bending the spinal cord in the neck this direction and exposing those vertebrae spaces on the other side. Okay, 3, 2, 1. There we are. Just a bit of brief massage to relax those muscles after that adjustment. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Alright, 3, said, when we bend that spinal cord, it actually opens up those spaces in the vertebral column on this side and allows that pressure to escape. 3, 2, 1. And there we are. We're just going to palpate, 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 palpate. And one more. 3, 2, 1. And there we are. Palpate, 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 palpate. Great. Let's test out that motion again. As you can see, that motion is becoming a lot more free-flowing and unobstructed by that inflammation inside those joints. As we use our joints and the muscles work to move your bones and vertebral column and vertebrae and things like that, what happens is there can be a buildup of inflammation over time, just stress from the use or movements that aren't quite ideal for your joints, and those muscles then tighten around that inflammation to secure it in the body and make sure that there isn't an injury. And that's where your pain generally comes from, is that muscular tension around those inflamed areas. Alright, so now we are going to... Alright, I think what I'm going to do is just put a brief hand here at the front of the chest, and we are going to bend down against that pressure of my hand underneath the head. And we're going to open up those vertebral spaces here on the back now. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Alright. As you can see, that was a great adjustment there. Let's get another one. 3, 2, 1. Great job. Your pig here is doing a wonderful job staying very calm. Okay, once more. 3, 2, 1. And perfect. That's feeling a lot better in that area. Let's test that motion. Oh yes, that's much better. Okay, I think that neck is starting to really come along at this point. So let's go ahead and move down to the spinal cord vertebrae and manipulate some of those joints. As we move those bones through their range of motion, that's where you hear that popping sound that is really coming from those interjoint spaces. Alright, so we're just going to palpate just a bit. Okay, and back up. And here is our first one. 3, 2, 1. Alright. And just palpate, palpate, palpate. Moving down. 3, 2, 1. And great. Moving down. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Palpate, palpate, palpate. And moving down. 3, 2, 1. And there we are. And once again, 3, 2, 1. And perfect. 3, 2, 1. There we are. And now we just massage along each side of that vertebral column here and begin our way back up. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. And last one. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now I'm just going to gently roll your pig onto its side. There we are. And we're just going to get a brief, relaxing massage there. And we're going to work on some of the shoulder joints here. of this back hip. Like you said, it seems as though at times when it tries to climb some elevated blocks, it seems to have a bit of pain, and I sensed a bit of inflammation on its right hip here. So just a bit of massage should do the trick before we begin again. Alright, so I'm actually just going to scoot your pig this way. So I'm going to begin on this back hip. I'm going to place pressure here on the top of the iliac crest. I'm going to place my other two thumbs under the leg, and we're just going to rotate that hip socket. Of course, that hip being a ball and socket joint, it does have a lot of motion. Alright, 3, 2, 1. There we are. This can be a bit of an aggressive adjustment, so I'm just going to try to be very gentle. 3, 2, 1. And see how that feels. Okay, once more. 3, 2, 1. Let's see and palpate that inflammation. I do feel it melting away. We might actually need, so I'm going to place one hand against the posterior side of that hip. 3, 2, 1. There we are. Okay, I think we're on to something there. That's feeling better. Let's get one more. 3, 2, 1. Yes, that's the spot. Okay, perfect. So I think that adjustment really did the trick. Let's see about that front shoulder. I think a lot of it is on this left side. Okay, so we're going to do kind of a triangular adjustment here. I'm going to go along the front of that front scapula and on the back side, and I'm going to use my thumbs once again to raise that leg. 3, 2, 1. And that's great. That's a great adjustment. Let's go one more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I actually think it's going to need one more at least. It's feeling better, but that scapula's still got some resistance to it. 3, 2, 1. There it went. Perfect. Now, while we have your pig on its side here, we're going to gently, ever so gently, slide our hand under its head and get just a bit of pressure on this side, just to try to get that neck tension just a bit more leveled out. 3, 2, 1, and palpate once more. 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's see. Okay, what I think I'm going to have to do is a rapid succession adjustment here. So I'm going to do a brief adjustment and then the full range. So let's make sure your pig is prepared adequately, because this can be a bit jarring. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1. And there we are. It can be a bit rough, but your pig looks like it handled it perfectly. Let's test that motion. Oh, that's great. Okay, I think one more should do the trick. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Excellent. Let's go ahead and rotate to the other side. Same thing now. Gently under the neck. Alright, 3, 2, 1. And there we are. Once more. 3, 2, 1. 5-3 repeating percent better. So I think you've more than got your money's worth for your pig, and I think it's going to really appreciate this treatment. Let's feel. Oh yes, all of that tension is all but completely melted away. Just a bit of ear scratching for good measure, because your pig was so well behaved. Okay, well, I think your pig is safe to go back to its pen and enjoy a pain-free evening. I'll get my table packed up and then we can see about payment. Alright, give me one moment. Well, it looks like we had a very successful treatment for your pig. I know it's feeling much better, and I am so happy to have been able to help. So let's go ahead and get your post-appointment information down. Alright, pig was, or I guess had, pain relief after adjustment. We did a standard adjustment on the back in the standing position, as well as a bit more advanced side position adjustment of the hip and front shoulder. Okay, which showed improvement. Well, I will have this sent to your brick matrix, and you can find all this information on the portal. Alright? Okay, your bill will obviously come through that system as well. So thank you so much for using our services tonight. Hopefully this was beneficial not only to you as well as your animals. And if you do have any issues with any of your other animals or creatures in general, please don't hesitate to call. Alright, please have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'm going to go ahead and head back.